Hello, every pony. Welcome to episode 1 of Like A Ditzy Do, a video blog about the My Little Pony collectible card game. Now, if you're curious about the hows and whys of I'm doing this, there is an episode 0. I suggest you go back and watch that. There will either be a link below in the notes, description, or if I can figure out how to do one of those annotation things that you click on this video, it takes you through another video. That may seem pretty basic, but I haven't touched a YouTube account in forever, so yeah. Now, since this is episode 1, I decided to talk about a lot of ones. Specifically, cards that have 1 power, cost 1 action token, and have 1 point color requirement. Originally, I was planning to talk about teamwork for my first episode, because I really like the teamwork ability, but I've been making a lot of decks lately, and this has led to some frustration. Now, this frustration stems what appears to be the fact that I have a pretty unusual deck building philosophy compared to what I've seen with people posting links to Ponyhead and whatnot. You see, for my decks, I don't use any no requirement cards for my primary color. Example, if I'm building a deck around Rainbow Dash hanging out, all of my blue friends will have at least 1 point requirement. Now, the reason for this, to me, seems pretty simple. A blue fixer isn't necessary if Rainbow Dash is your main. And that's true of any other color. If you're running orange, you don't need any orange fixers, because you're always going to have at least 1 point. And hopefully you'll have 3 relatively quickly. As such, I feel that the fixers are better served for your off color. Going with my Rainbow Dash example, I have Equestrian Mailmare in that deck. Surprise. Or Winona, or any of the yellow cards that have no requirement. Another part of the reason I do this is, in some cases, I have very limited quantities of colorless cards. The examples, of course, being the fixed rarities of Lady Justice or Cherry Jubilee. I love those cards, but they just feel like a waste of space putting Lady Justice in a Twilight deck or Cherry Jubilee in an Applejack deck. So now that you understand my mentality, I'm basically going to spend this video explaining that I think the game needs more of these cards, especially when you consider that blue has 4, while up until Absolute Discord, pink only had 1. And pink's was rare and played off of Troublemakers. Now, if you're one of those types who doesn't use Troublemakers in the deck, or at least Troublemakers in a pink deck, that card is kind of useless to you. So, did some research before this video, and here's the breakdown. Blue has 4, orange has 2, pink has 2, purple has 2, white has 3, thanks to Absolute Discord, and yellow has 2. Yellow, I think, has it the worst, because one of the 1/1/1s is rare, and not one of those rares you can now find for 35 cents. Falcon goes from anywhere from $6 to $10. And while that's not the most expensive card this game has, that's still pricey if you run a lot of yellow, which actually I find myself doing a lot more lately. And the other yellow 1/1/1, while common, has Caretaker, which means if you're building a yellow deck without critters or minimal critters, that card is either useless or not as useful. And it's with yellow that my frustration really started. See, I just finished building a deck around Princess Celestia Hoofshaker, and I didn't want to use any critters. I'm a little tired of using critters when it comes to yellow. Yeah, I think I'm going to save that whole thing for another video. Meanwhile, over in blue, 3 out of those 4 cards are common. The 4th one is one of the cheaper rares, and they all have a unique ability spread. They don't rely on the same type of thing. Blue and orange also have the unique advantage of having a 1/1/0. And while these cards have 0 power to start, that can increase. For example, oranges is support of 2, which means it's pretty much 2 power for 1 action token. That's a good deal. And blues can become really powerful as long as you can keep the good doctor regenerating. It'll add up pretty quick, I'm sure. So not only do I think that at the very least the other colors should be given an equal number of these, personally I would just appreciate more variety in these. I'm getting a little tired of using Sakura and Professor Nay in all of my purple decks. As a starting point, I think the main 6 should get these cards, but in other colors. I mean, Absolute Discord gave us a blue Sweetie Belle, a white Apple Bloom, and an orange Scootaloo. And way back in Canterlot Nights, we got promos of the main 6 not only in different colors than their normal, but they had abilities that played off being at the same problem with different colors and characters. And while I don't think they get a lot of use, I think they're fun, and I really hope to use them in decks at some point. So yeah, give us something like Rainbow Dash, Inspiring Coach, or Applejack, Family Loyalty, Pinkie Pie, Party Magic. Heck, maybe make main 6 cards like this, but based off their mixed up cutie marks from the Magical Mystery Cure. I think that would be a lot of fun. Speaking of Sakura, I think support of 1 is a great power for these cards to have. It makes them really useful and really easy to play, especially early game. I know I just said I'm tired of using Sakura, but that's because it's really hard to leave her out of purple decks. I really think it was a missed opportunity not making the pets this type of card. Not only does it make them actually useful, I think they'd be really playable and useful early game, especially if you're someone like me who gets stuck on building their decks around the show. I mean, yes, I know those aren't the best cards, but it doesn't change the fact that my Pinkie Pie deck has Gummy, and my Rainbow Dash deck has Tank, and my Twilight deck has Aloysius. Yes, I know. Like I say in episode 0, I know I'm not going to make it in any tournaments. That's okay. I still have fun. And the whole thing about building decks around the show will probably be an episode on and of itself at a later point. When making the pets 1/1/1 that gets a +1 bonus when it's with Rainbow Dash or Applejack or Rarity, would that really make them too powerful? To me, that doesn't make them any more powerful than Cloudy Quartz, so well, going with that example, just make the pets 1/1/0. So yeah, this is one of my favorite types of cards in the game, and it's just frustrating to me that there aren't more options for this in the game. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to build a deck for almost every single main, but the point is to have fun, right? So I think that's all I have to say on this subject for now. So what about you guys? Do you think there should be more 1/1/1s? Do you think I'm dumb for not including Lady Justice in my Twilight deck? Do you think I'm crazy for even trying to build a deck around Princess Celestia Hoofshaker? Yes, I know she's terrible. Or do you think I'm just completely clueless for trying to use yellow without critters? But here's my real question that I would like answers for my next video. How would you make the main 6 as off-color 1/1/1s? What names and abilities would you give them? And what pony would you make what color? And actually, here's a question I'd like an answer to. Do 1/1/1s have a name in the game? I know cards without color requirements are often called fixers, but I've never heard these addressed by any particular term. Till next time, I'm Nate Z, and I'm going back to building decks like a Ditzy Do.